here's me looking cute. I went on a Puget Sound Express whale watch with some loved ones to do an early celebration of my birthday, and I was so excited. It was a cloudy day, and we had driven up to the port of Edmonds to get on the catamaran. It wasn't the coldest, but later on when I end up getting on the catamaran, I realize I'm severely underdressed, even though I've been on a whale watch before. Maybe I just wanted the whales to see me slaying, but I ended up getting a sweatshirt anyways, because I collect whale watching sweatshirts, so I was fine. Here's us getting on the catamaran, and my excitement is definitely building at this point. We see a bunch of starfish on the way into the catamaran, and we make our way to the boat. Here's the main area and the little kitchen, and we slowly depart from the port of Edmonds. I personally love Edmonds. I think it's a super cute area with a lot of things to do and a lot of art. So driving there really wasn't a chore for this excursion. I love whales, if you guys didn't already know. It's not just the Pisces in me. They're just so interesting, and I love being out on the water. The boat has a way of lulling you into this relaxed, trance-like state as you glide across the water, and you start learning immediately because the naturalist starts talking about the whales and what we might see, and the rules of the whale watch, which are important. I love watching the dock or the port and the town slowly gets smaller and smaller as we pull away. And of course there's the view of the ferry. I love the ferry, and I take the ferry as often as I can. I love exploring new places. And here I am, being a dork and recording everything I'm seeing so that you guys can get a good idea of what the day was like. Here are the windows we're at, and I'm sitting at a table with my loved ones, snacking on blueberry buckles, which they were baking in the galley. There's a special map that shows us where we are or where we have been, and I adored that because, as you know, I'm nosy, and I like to keep track of things like that. It's a gray day outside, but I think that is sometimes the best time to go on an adventure. When you get up from your seat apologize for my shaky recording as I am using a real camera, one I got for my 16th birthday, and I'm trying something new. And we end up stopping suddenly, and I get a shot of the water, but the naturalist and the captain said that they might have seen something. This is a gray whale watch, but they thought they saw something other than a gray whale, so we decided to check it out and approached the subject very slowly. Here we are looking out into the distance trying to find a whale or a creature. It's very quiet as people are looking for whales and sea critters and trying to be patient. Pretty soon we end up seeing something, and it's an orca, which was so exciting. We actually saw a whole pod of orcas, about 3 of them. We believe this pod to be pod 124D1. It was very interesting. This pod is a pod of transient orcas, and there is a mother and a baby, which was extremely adorable, and I loved every second of it. I got a little too excited, and the camera is extremely shaky, so I hope you're mostly just listening to my words. Being on a boat and filming is very difficult. Next time I do something like this, I'm definitely going to have a stabilizer with me. There were a lot of sudden movements. The orcas got pretty close to us as well. Orcas are the predator of the sea. Sometimes they migrate to warmer areas, but they usually stick with their mothers. At least that is what I learned, and I thought that was really interesting. In a huge sleigh, we ended up staying here with these orcas for a little bit, and then slowly moving towards another pod of orcas that the naturalist and the captain saw, which was really exciting to be looking at something and then have to head a different way to go see something else. Look how beautiful. Another interesting tidbit about orcas is that a lot of them have a diet of fish, but they also eat other larger animals, and the orcas that eat larger animals tend to be more successful than the ones that eat just fish. The main thing that keeps orcas, or just whales in general, in the Sound and around Seattle and the surrounding areas is food supply. So it's important that they have like a variety of food to choose from. This was magnificent and felt just so magical to me. Even just catching glimpses of these whales. We start heading out towards the other pod of whales, which I think are the 124A4 pod. All of these whales also had distinct names, but I cannot remember them at the moment. This was a really cool and anticipatory journey towards the other pod of whales. also hear them using their blowholes, which I thought was very interesting. The captain and the naturalist were so excited to see another pod. They exclaimed that it was weird seeing two transient pods at that, being so close together. These ones were a little bit further away, and we didn't really make our way all the way to them because this was a gray whale watching tour, and we wanted to move on pretty soon, but we thought we'd stay for a few more minutes and look at the whales and enjoy this serendipitous moment. They're just so beautiful. We also learned about how to identify different pods and specific orcas or whales. You can identify them by looking at their eye patches, their dorsal fins, the height of their dorsal fins, any injuries or scratches, and the naturalists use a ID guide that they have. And I just thought that was very interesting. The male orca's fins also get up to about 6 feet tall, and orcas can weigh past 14,000 pounds, which to me sounds crazy. And to see it off the edge of a boat was something of a dream for me. I had never seen an orca before this trip, and it was really awesome. There are a few things in this world that take my breath away, and those things are whales, really beautiful art, and a scenic mountain view. And I was just really excited that I got to do something I really loved this weekend, and that it was a successful journey. We could have turned around after this and I wouldn't have been mad. It was just so, so, so beautiful. If you ever get the opportunity to go on a whale watch, I 10 out of 10 recommend it. No matter what you see, it's still exciting because you're like an adventurer for a day. Next, we start heading out into gray whale territory, and we start looking for gray whales. There are some really cute sailboats that we pass by on the way to that area. You see all sorts of birds and other animals when you're traversing through the water, and the speed of the catamaran picked up and slowed down as we went to avoid logs or anything else. There's me again putting on my scarf, and after I got the sweatshirt that I told you guys about, I'm so excited, but I was so cold. We also passed what I think is Whidbey Island. It might be a smaller island off of Whidbey Island. I remember looking at the map, but it looks so Twilight core. It's so beautiful and foggy and green. It was so fun to just look out the window and think about what we might see. There's that map again. this beauty as a gray whale, and that her name is Gretchen. Gray whales can get up to the size of a school bus, which is crazy, and seeing this whale on the side of the boat was magnificent and awe-striking and all of that. Gretchen is a local whale. They named her that, and they know she's local because she's been around for about 25 years, which made me so happy. Like, hey, there's a whale friend that hangs out here. We slowly get closer as we learn more about Gretchen and about how she lives here. They also mentioned that she kind of lives here every other year. And they mentioned that whales do that, and specifically Gretchen, because they leave to have kids, which is adorable. Again, whales come here a lot for food. And we can see here that Gretchen is coming up for air and then diving back down. So what gray whales do is they come up for air and they dive deep down over and over again, and they open their mouth and collect food, and then in their mouth they have a lot of stacks of baleen where they filter out all the unwanted debris and keep the food for themselves. And then, yeah, they come back up for air, which I thought was extremely interesting. In a second, you are going to see that my camera quality changes. It's because I move back to using my cell phone. Wow. Another way that marine biologists and naturalists and all those people identify whales can also be by their flukes. We spent some time watching Gretchen come up and then go back down into the water and back up again, just watching her do her thing. She completely slayed the Boots house down. Houston, I'm deceased. I wanted to be her friend so bad. It's really hard for me not to just jump in the water and be like, hello, I understand you. The sheer size of whales are enough to make me like ogle at them, but also the fact that they just seem so magical and like they know something that we don't. And that is also what's intriguing to me. A creature that large and so pertinent to the ecosystem has to know something that we don't. And they're just so gentle. And as a really tall person, I'm like 5'10", seeing a big creature be so graceful is honestly like inspirational. I just have always loved whales. They're so interesting. Gretchen was pretty friendly and not very scared of the boat, which was pretty cool. And she showed us her tail flukes like over and over and over again. And we were just so lucky. Some of the time we just sat there in awe, even when she was under the water, because to see this many whales this early on in the whale watching season is a little uncanny. It's not and sometimes over the summer you don't see them, which is a bummer, but you can't like make them come to you. Our whale watching, as you can see, was pretty ethical, as whale watching prohibits going towards the whales like less than 200 yards away from the whales. So we stayed about 200 yards away from the whale and let it just come to you, and then when it gets too close, just backing away again. One other fun fact that I forgot to mention earlier is that there are about 400 orcas that come through the Puget Sound or live in the Puget Sound. I meant to talk about that earlier. Also, gray whales, as you can see on Gretchen, have little spots on them, and those aren't necessarily spots, like birthmarks or injuries. A lot of those are barnacles. The barnacles hitch on to whales like Gretchen, and then they're able to feed themselves by filtering the water that's like coming off of Gretchen, or like as she swims through the water. They're able to eat by latching on to her, because she is mother, and she's mother of the Puget Sound. If I won the lottery, I would not say anything, but there would be signs, and the signs would be me going on a whale watch like every other weekend. I so wish there was some sort of membership I could have for this. I would love it so much. I'm also really sorry if you hear background noise. I'm pretty sure the male person is here. We stay and watch Gretchen for a little bit longer. I almost cried. It's just crazy to me that this creature picked, like, right here for us to watch her, and she so graciously stayed. We also just listened to the naturalist and the captain talk about Gretchen, and there were also some wildlife photographers on the boat, and they were taking lots of pictures of her. It was like sea paparazzi. It made me emotional to see this beautiful animal so up close. Me and my loved ones all shared that moment together, and it was really great. And eventually I end up going inside the boat to charge my camera again, because eventually we head back to the port of Edmonds, and I was soothed and lulled back into that like trance of being on a boat, especially since I was a little worn out from running around the boat to see the whales. We kind of just eat our lunch. There was lunch on the boat. They had sandwiches and chips and things of that nature. So we ate that on the way back, and it took about like 25 minutes to get back to shore. It was really wonderful, even the ride back, even though we didn't stop to see anything. I think I just like being on the water. If you're anything like me, it feels kind of like a meditation. You feel at home. I'm sure my water signs understand what I'm saying. Anyways, we end up getting back to the port of Edmonds, and my loved ones and I prepared to go walk around the town. Anyways, that's all you got.